Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's coaching call. Hopefully, we'll have some people chiming in today's call. Let's see how we can do this here. Make sure we're connected here. Last call. Good morning, Rick. How you doing? Thanks for joining, Rick. We have to connect. I apologize. I didn't connect with you, but I'll make that happen. The this month, last month's call, we talked about the cadet worlds and how great it was watching these young athletes, do judo. And boy, how good it was to watch that. This month we had the junior worlds, and that was even better. That was even better. I follow. You can follow. All right. Good. D dot. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. So I was fortunate when I was coaching to be able to coach the junior worlds several times, and enjoyed it a lot. Watching young kids do judo, seeing the development, seeing new kids doing new moves, like would be in any sport, whether it be tennis but even though the best of the best are who they are, but still the great kids that are 17, 18, 19, 20, are tremendously talented. And there was a tremendously talented group there. And we did come away with one medal, which was fantastic. Jonathan Yang, played great. And just a great kid, hard worker. But the judo was good. And I'm forever surprised at the continuation of good quality judo, technical judo, fundamental judo. Now, of course, everyone makes their judo their own, and that's fine. But man, the amount of ashiwaza I saw was so good. Oji, koji, just dashi barai, it's just really good, really good. And you know how I stress that, when you're teaching, when you have a young group of kids that you start them doing ashiwaza, all just sweeping your foot, get used to using your foot, grabbing the foot, pointing your toe, all those things. Get the kids used to it when they're 5, 6, and 7. Start right off the bat, because I like I said, I was just absolutely amazed at how good these kids were at using their feet. And I've got a bunch of videos I'm going to show you. But again, I know you hear this till the end, and from me, that I never stop talking about fundamentals. Fundamentals. Kazushi, how you hold the gi, grab the gi, move your hands, move your body, where you stand, pointing your toe, turning your foot, all the things, how you move, posture, all those things that are important to fundamentals that we must have if we're going to learn the skill of judo. And I cannot tell you, in my life of judo, which started a long time ago, and from the time I started coaching in the 70s, early 70s, teaching and coaching, the idea of teaching judo to win as opposed to learn is such a huge mistake. And we get into this this world of that winning is the most important thing. And what happens then is that when kids stop winning, they stop liking judo. It's hard enough to keep them in judo as it is, especially in the United States. Winning's not important. Fundamentals are. As I've said many times to you, and I keep saying it, and if you get tired of it, let me know. If you do 20 tournaments a year and the kids are coming to judo 3 times a week, you see them, 12 times a month. That's 144 times a year compared to 20 tournaments. You control the culture. You as a coach control the culture. For me, I always promoted effort over success. In the dojo, effort is what gives you the credibility, not success. What that does is that gives the kid who doesn't have the athletic ability, who doesn't win very often, to be at the top of his peers if he works harder. And it also pushes the kids that win on their athletic ability. If they want credibility in the club, they've got to work harder too. So it fits for both ends. and it creates an atmosphere where everyone's, working hard and trying hard. Now, again, I mean, it doesn't have to. I mean, I ran a competitive club, and I had a lot of kids that weren't necessarily great competitors, but they were great club members. They were great judo players. They were great, teammates, which is what you need. And for any of you guys, Rick, I'm not sure how old you are, but if you, and guys that are as old as me, remember, every dojo had players, had club players. There was a time in my life where my brother and I can get in the car and go to the Lawson YMCA, the Leaning Tower. We can go to different dojos, and there's always people there doing judo. There's adults doing judo. It's just not that way anymore, unfortunately. But again, you teach good fundamentals. You teach people to stick around. Let them enjoy the sport of judo. As they learn the fundamentals, they'll appreciate the judo better. So as a teacher, and again, I'm happy to help with it. I do work constantly. We had to Madison. Yeah, good for you, Rick. Good for you. I think that the more you do that, the better the better it is. And again, judo, and I'm from Chicago. Judo was a family. We had a Yananchikai that covered, as far as Minnesota, but it was a family, and we worked together. And when our junior nationals came around, we picked a coach, and we all trained together. All the juniors trained together at different clubs. And when we were seniors, we trained as seniors at different clubs. So we had training sessions, and there were 50 people on the mat. So, I mean, just in Chicago, in our own Yananchikai, we had good training sessions at the time. So it was a little different then. But getting back to fundamentals, it was a lot easier back then, because years ago, fundamental judo was what was done. The quality of your technique was far more important than grabbing someone falling down and having them fall down and getting a score. Actually, when I started competing in junior judo, there was a 5-point system that you were rewarded for good judo. So if you won by ippon, you would get 0 points. And if you lost by ippon, you got 3 points. And it was a 5-point bat system, and we can get into that at another time. But the point was, the system was set up to promote good judo. And if ever you've listened to me talk with Jimmy, we always talk about that. Good judo is far more important than winning when you're younger. Teach good judo. Winning doesn't matter when you're young. So with that said, I did get a lot of videos this time, and I have I'm going to start with Ashiwaza, and I got quite a bit of Ashiwaza videos, which I was, again, I tell you, I was surprised. Here we are. So, and again, how good these players were, how good they were. So let me see as I share the screen window here. So let me see where we're at, if I can get this over here. Okay, these videos I get give you different looks at the throws, which I love. So we'll get to this here. I want to show, I want you to see here that in judo, there's a way to force a reaction, and there's also a way to guide your opponent in the direction you want him to go. And the people that have a great ashibarai or kuri ashibarai with the movement are able to do that. And here we'll watch in fast motion, and I'll slow it down. Watch how he lets him go. He guides him and hits that foot sweep. He knows what he's setting up. He knows what he's setting up. And he gets it out. And let's see if we could see this again. I could slow it down here. Let me get it here. So watch as he misses the throw. He sees Blue is going to be moving to his left, and he lets him move. He knows he's going to do the ashi. Look at that step. Look at his right foot. All the power, and shift the weight in his hips into that ashi, and bam, hits it hard. Look where he hits it. Perfect spot. Nice ashi. And I love that. Just very, very, very impressed with this. And I hope I don't say that too many times for you. But man, it was good. It was good. And the other thing I saw was a lot of Koichigari. A lot of Koichigari. Not sure why. Let's see, Rick. Foot turns up. Yeah. Again, Rick, I just can't stop talking about fundamentals. These young kids do really good judo. So let's watch this fast first, and then we could slow it down a little bit. Look at that. And so it's subtle, and you may not see it, but I want you to watch how the left foot touches his opponent's right foot first. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can go frame by frame. He touches it. So Blue picks his foot up when he does that. He picks his foot up. And that's where he gets that koichi. Look at that. Touches the other foot and draws the foot up in the air and does the koichi. Look at the foot, Rick. Look at that. Look how nice that is. God, that's good stuff. I love that. Watch how he hits the right foot first and draws that foot up. That's a right on left move. I did that when I was younger. Of course, my brother was a lefty, so I fought a lefty most. My developmental life in judo was fighting a lefty. So I was able to develop techniques, and I did that. And so, watching how beautiful that is, and again, you're forcing a reaction. And when you see how subtle it is, mine ain't that pretty, but I'm going to try to set up. You know what? It's funny. It's a great setup because you're forcing that foot up, and you got to do it like 5,000 times. You got to do it over and over and over again to get that feel of how you draw that foot up. But it's a beautiful technique, and it's not an accident. This is something done by design. He has practiced this move over and over again. Here's something a little different. Again, it's not Ashiwaza, it's Kochi. And I just really, really liked this move. It was just done so well. I see kids do Kochi Makikomi all the time, and they're reaching, they're far out, they have no drive, and this is just perfect. Look at that setup. Look at that setup. Watch how he pulls for the Ippon Seoinage. Look at that. Wow, is that good? It's okay, so the video ran long here. Let's try to watch Blue's right foot, how he's responding. Look at him starting to respond to the Ippon Seoinage. This foot's coming out to post. Look at him. He's posting to stop the Ippon Seoinage. Look how far back he is now. Look how far back he is now. Boy, that's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. That is good judo. And again, whenever you're putting moves together like this, forward and backward. So when I teach judo, I want the same movement, the same kazushi pull as close as possible to the forward move and the backward move. This way you get your opponent, you can get them to bite. So watch this here. Watch how he pulls forward for the Ippon Seoinage. He's still straight up. He's still here. He hasn't pushed back yet. He's still straight up. And there he goes. What a beautiful setup. What a beautiful setup for that. Let's watch again. So I'm telling you, you could teach that. We can teach that judo. We can teach that judo. It's not too hard to do if we have some guidance. We could teach that. We can drill it, and we could teach kids how to learn how to. And it's fun, when you do a drill where you have two crash pads and you're going one direction or the other. The kids love those drills. They have great times doing it. Great times doing it. Let's see what this is here. That's not it. Where is? I wonder why my things aren't working here. Because maybe that. It's something that you can do with drills. The kids would have a great time. Great time. I'm sorry, I'm getting another video. Have a great time doing those drills. They'll be laughing, having fun, and they'll be learning judo. They love that. They love that, and they love the guessing game. And it's such a great drill for kids to get a feel for their opponent's reaction. It's such a great drill for them to do. And even if you don't have a club that does randori, which is fine with me, you still can do these drills on a crash pad, and get the feel of your opponent's reaction. It's such a good drill for so many reasons, but you can do that and get that feel. Now you look at Europeans, they've got camps, their clubs, everything is so big there, tournaments, everything is so big there that they're fighting with so many different people. They have cadet camps with over 1,000 cadets there. I mean, it's hard to compete with that in the United States, but we could put together drills and do things that we could teach our kids how to do that. And like I said, it's fun, and not only will they enjoy it, but it's just a great drill for Uki and Tori, both. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, I like this move for a reason. Let's watch this quick. Nice little Sasai. Watch. Right, left. I mean, left and then right. Sorry. Look at that. I even wrote it here. Left and then right. Let's go back there. I let this one run a little long. It's just really nice how they put those together, left and right. I really like this. I really like how she swings to the left with call that a Sasai Hiza. Then the girl stops, leans the other way, and then she does the right. Again, swings her around, then comes back the other way. Watch the turn in the body of Uki, how she's coming around as she does I guess I'd call that a Hiza, sort of. And then when she comes around, she turns her body and gets in the other direction, and then she just hits her right away with that Sasai. I mean, it's just a nice way of putting throws together. I love watching, and again, these kids are young, right? They're kids, they're juniors, and they're putting throws together using their feet. It's I'm gonna skip one here. Using their feet well, and you learn that by using your feet. I mean, that just doesn't happen in a competition. You practice that. And it's not about that you practice that exact move. It's a move that comes about. It's about making Ashiwaza your own, making your feet work for you. I was watching today, and I'll show that in another one where there's a French guy that does an incredible Sasai. His name is Baoba. I think I did a breakdown. He's just an incredible Sasai. So good. And I'll show that next month. I was just watching him today, and boy, is he good. Really enjoyed it. So here we're going to get let's watch this up here. So let's watch this again. Because when I do the videos, when I know I have 3, I don't always catch the very beginning of the first one. But here, watch. Ochi Kochi. Look how nice that is. Watch how nice that is. So let's slow it down here. See if we can slow it down here. Watch. Watch the reaction. Look at the foot. It's in the air. As he hits the uke, puts his weight all on his right foot to push back into him and lifts that foot up as he comes in. And look, it's off the ground. Look at that. Off the ground. Hits that kochi. And of course, he sticks with that foot. Let's watch that again. Let's watch how he keeps that foot. He keeps that foot. Nice. Nice kochi-gari for Ippon. Who's asking a question? Holistic dentist for pain. Excellent. Wow. Is that my friend Vera? Is that my friend Vera there watching? Hi, Vera. How you doing? Glad you could join us. I mean, what I want you to see here, which makes it so wonderful, is watch the reaction, how they force the reaction of the uke, how they make him, look how he forces the reaction there. And again, that's not something he invented that day. That's something he does, ochi to kochi. He knows the feel of the reaction of the uke, of his partner, of his who he's fighting, and that's from practice and practice and practice. I'm going to go back to an ouchi off the grip, which I like. I have one great ouchi I'm going to show you in a couple minutes, but I like this. This is like if you like watching Fabio Basile, he loves. This is his kind of ouchi. Dennis Veru does this too. I mean, it's an off the grip, and at one time you'd grab the leg doing it, but you can't do it. So here you're grabbing the body, and it's just a real nice ouchi. And look how he drives. He gets back on his feet when he does that. Watch, he's on his foot, and watch how he keeps the leg. So in doing ouchigari, I don't teach to reap the leg. I teach to capture the leg. Because at some point, uke is going to want to lift this leg up and step back because you're driving him over, in this case, his right shoulder. So watch what happens. You see, his foot's coming up now. He's going to be stepping out of this leg, and watch how he comes up and keeps it. No, he doesn't keep it that well, huh? He just nails him from here. It's over with the. It's just over there. Just a nice look. Look at the direction. Always over. There's different types of ouchigaris. There's different types, but watch how he drives. This is the one I teach. Driving over your opponent's direction of the leg you're hooking. And just watch this drive. Look at his whole body driving in that direction. There's no getting out of this. There's no getting out of this. Look at this drive. Look at this pull. Look at the pull down. Teaching ouchi. Right hand, in this case, right hand, pulls down. Down. Has to pull down. Look at that. There's nowhere to go here. God, I love that. Those of you who know me know that I love ouchigari. Actually, I'll give you right now, I'll tell you that on the members call, I'm going to be doing ouchigari. I'll go over Ouchigari. We'll do that. Let's see what I have here. What's next? Okay, I'm just go. Oh, is this the one? Oh, okay, so here it is. Okay, I want to show you this one because I thought this was so inventive. I told you when I watch the juniors, I find them to be really inventive with their judo, their newaza especially too. But this is just this is really really good. And I watch a lot of judo. I haven't seen this, and who knows? Maybe you guys have. I haven't. So we'll just watch this quickly. This Ouchigari, and I mean it's just it's beautiful. I'm gonna watch it one more time. Oh, was that a Kochi first? Maybe. So yes, it is Kochi Ochi. I even wrote it. We're gonna watch this again slowly. Because watch, he hits the Kochi, then he goes to the watch this hand here. Watch what he does with this hand. He's gonna bring it down and capture the leg. So now that leg is locked with this arm. Now, he's not grabbing the leg, which would be a penalty. And I don't know if the refs missed it. I don't know. He's trapping the leg with his arm. You see that? And he's throwing him. Yeah, is that Rick? Did you see that? I mean, I was so impressed watching this. I said, "Well, how cool that is that he did that! What a great move! What a great move!" Watch. Hits the Kochi. Ochi brings the arm down, driving down, but captures the leg. Look at that. Look at that. Man, I love this. I love this when I saw this. Look at him do that. And this is why I love the juniors. I love watching the juniors. You see stuff like this. Just love this. Look at that. How cool is that? What a great move. What a way to get around the rules, huh? I love that. I just love that. Wow, that was great. I was so happy to see that. You can tell I get excited about judo, huh? Oh, okay. This is good too. All right, we're gonna get back to a Sasai here. I hope you guys don't mind watching so much Ashiwaza. I never get tired of it. And again, watching the seeing different ways of doing the same techniques, to me is just wonderful. So you'll forgive me. I have a little, let's say, favorability to the big guys. Let's watch this. How nice this is. Jet Sasai. What a nice Sasai. Watch how he waits till the direction changes. Watch, he knows that Uki's going to come. Watch him come right, high right. Watch. As soon as he comes, he hits that. He knew that was coming. That was nice. Not as slick as the lighter weight guys, but we can give him some credit. He knew he was coming high. He was waiting for it. Watch how fast he hits that. Watch. Look how fast he goes into. He's going in it now. He sees he's coming. He's hitting that side with this anticipation. Look at that. Look how he knows it's coming. He's coming under the arm. That is pretty good. That is good stuff, huh? Look at that. This guy's a Russian heavyweight. Russian heavyweights are good. Look at that. Look how he's anticipating. Oh, man, that's nice stuff. Beautiful. Moneta still has the best of all. God, no, this guy's not in Monetta's class. Not yet. Not yet. Monetta's a beast. I hope you've seen that Society on one of my calls because I've shown it a couple of times. It's phenomenal, and that's in my action reaction because Monetta was great. Quick side note here for you, Rick. I was fortunate to be in Japan for the Kano Cup when Monetta was in high school, and Monetta won the Kano Cup when he was in high school. I guess he was maybe 17 years old, and all his high school team came. I mean, his whole high school filled must have had about 3,000 kids from the high school there, and boy was it loud when he fought. And he was just freaking great. He was just great. Yeah, Monetta is special. He's really special. And listen, any of you guys that have some favorite players, or like I said, I've got an enormous amount of videos. If you want to see some videos of some of your favorite players, whether it's Koga, whether it's Ono, whether it's Abe, whether it's Mariyama, going back to Inoue, the earlier the better. I got more videos of more recents. But if you do, let me know, and I'll create some videos for the call with some of your favorite players. I'm happy to do that. It may be on the members call and not the coaches call, but I would do that. Let's see where we're at here for the next one. Okay, I like this one too. I was fortunate to be around Jason Morris when he was young, really young. Let's see, Vera. What'd you say, Vera? Inoue. Okay, well, I love Inoue. I got stories about him. Same Inoue in my generation. Yeah. I can tell you a story about that too, but I'll save that for the Inoue call. I watched him when he was young too. Very fortunate. So again, I was saying that I was fortunate to be around Jason Morris when he was developing his judo, when he was at a place where I thought he was the best in the world. And his feet, his sticker was just got almost impossible to stop. He could grab your foot like it was a hand with his foot. Amazing. And he was as good as there was. But I'm watching these young guys. I guess I'm 70 years old, so I can call a 20-year-old young. Watching them use their feet in a way that's just so good. Look how he sticks to that leg. Now this is golden score, right? So this is it. This is the match here. This is the match. Watch how he hangs on to that leg. As he goes to pick it up, he won't let him pick it up. Just enough for Yuko. That may not have been a score when I was younger, but that was nice. That was nice. Let's see if we can go over it slow and watch how he captures the foot and keeps it. So what happens is as he gets the foot, and again, he's grabbing the foot with his foot turn. Rick, good fundamentals. As Uke goes to pick the foot up, he keeps it. He's able to keep that foot when he picks it up. That's the thing. Look how high he goes. Look how high he goes to keep this foot. So when Uke wants to take this step, he wants to step back and step out of it. He doesn't let him. And there it is. Look how nice that is. Let's watch that again. Look how nice that is. That's just good judo. Hanging on to that foot and following it as he lifts it up. Watch how he just follows it as he lifts it up. You see? He stays with that foot. So, I mean, that's just good ashiwaza, That's just really good ashiwaza. Guys doing ashiwaza every day, practicing it, trying different ways to make it their own. And that was just really nice. We got some time, a little bit more. Because I Coca, maybe when I was playing, maybe. When I was younger, nothing. Zero. When I was younger. But a lot of Ozaris would be nothing too. But yeah. So, again, this goes from Ashiwaza to transition. I really like this one. Gets gets him down and knocks him down right into the transition. Look how fast he's in that choke. My God, look how fast. I always say there's two types of transition. There's transition into the Newaza, and there's transition from Newaza to Newaza. In this case, and you could have both in one match, certainly, but in this case, watch how fast he's into that choke. Look at that. On the knees. He's not even settled on the ground yet, and the choke is on. Now that's what transition is. That's what good transition is. And you see, he's got it. He's got that choke. Look at him locked in here. Yeah, there's nowhere to go. Nowhere to go here. Yeah, I thought this was so nice. I love, I try. I was fortunate. I got to coach Jimmy and other players too, but Jimmy especially, who I still think is the best Newaza guy in the world. And I got to see the transition at its best. And his transition into Juji was just amazing. Just so quick, so quick. I just recently posted his world championship match with Makarov. If you want to go to my Facebook page and take a look, you can see it. It's just phenomenal. And he had Makarov. He did an armbar, but he pinned him from the armbar. Did the Juji pin, which gave him a Yuko score, which was enough to win the match. But he scored a few other times. And Makarov obviously is a world champion too. So, great judo, but his transition at the Juji, just like Neil Adams, was phenomenal. And I believe if you guys want to go on American Judo, you could see a video of Jimmy and Neil Adams doing I would call it a clinic when I did the interview with Neil and Jimmy with Juji Gatami, and it's a master class. It's long. It's about an hour long, but it's absolutely phenomenal. They go into Tayatoshi also, but nothing like the Juji. It's a master class in Juji Gatami. I was there. I was one of 3 people there. And when it was done, I stood up and clapped. I was just amazed. It was just an absolute master class. Anyone who does Juji Gatami, wants to learn it, or just really likes to see great artistry, that's worth taking a look at if you can. Okay, so let's see how this goes here. This was a weird drop Sayanagi for me. So he kind of hesitates for a second and comes in. Wasn't quite sure what that was, but it was unique enough for me to take a look. So when I slowed it down, it looked better. See, I don't quite know what this is. Why he's starting here. That's awkward to me. I don't know if that was part of the setup. And then he lifts up and flies under him. Look at that. I just haven't seen it like that before. Unless that wasn't on purpose. I don't know. Look, and then look how he just, from here, look how he just fits right under him. Look at that. Up and over. That's a beautiful Morote, drop Morote. But boy, that was just awkward to me. And again, we're watching young kids. I don't know if that's just that's a fake or something. Look at this, how he opens up. Look where he's at. He drops down. Look at the opening here. From here. Wow. Boy. That probably was on purpose. Boy, that was nice. I got to work with Neil and Nikki a few months back. Yeah, they're wonderful. But I'm telling you, I did this interview with Neil and Jimmy, so I was directing it, and I wasn't letting Jimmy and Neil leave the dojo without them going over Juji. Neil's phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal, as Jimmy is. But having them just watching how they do the juji, how they get out of different situations. I got to tell you, I mean, I didn't have that when I was younger. I wish I did. I wish I did. If you can't find it, I'll get it to you, Rick. It's an absolute masterclass in it. And maybe I'll just do a call on that Juji video by itself. I'll see what kind of mood Travis is in. We'll see. Okay, let's get one more here. We're running out of time, guys. I'm sorry. I want to get a. Let's see real quick. Okay. I found something. I also found that there were quite a few Uchimatas here, quite a few Uchimatas, and again, I teach Uchimata. I love the throw. I've been teaching it for years, and here we'll watch this nice step. So I got to tell you, I can't tell you that when Maruyama was 20 years old, what his Uchimata looked like. This is going to get better, but just take a look. Look at that first step. Look at the commitment. Steps coming. Look at the Kazushi. Look at the Kazushi coming as he takes that first step. Look how deep this is. Look how deep this is. Look at the supporting foot right under. Lift. Lift with the hips. Look at that. God, this is just really good. Lift with the hips and over. Oh, we'll see that fast again. Let's watch this. Just watch this nice big step into the Uchimata. Look at that commitment. When I work with advanced athletes, we get to a point where we start working with, when does the opening appear and when do we enter the throw? And how do we get that that time down to just about, let me see if I can do this quick. How do we get that timing down to almost nothing? We want the opening there and the throw done. Let's see, again, Japan. Okay. Japan does Uchimata. Japan does Uchimata well. Don't they? Okay, let's take a look here. So again, we're watching Uchimata done on a tall guy. Still, look at that first step. Look at that commitment. Look at that commitment. My student Bob Berland could throw tall people with Uchimata really well too. Some people have that good of an Uchimata. So just watch the commitment. Look at that step. Look at that first step. Look at that. Now, supporting foot covers, lift. God, that's good. At every camp I'm ever at, anytime Jimmy says, "All right, Steve, what do you got to say?" I always talk about commitment. Commitment, commitment, commitment. We have to make the commitment. Okay. I want to show you this Newaza move too, because I love this. I love Sankaku, and we're gonna watch this one here because it's just so good. I know we're running long on time, guys, so hang with me. It's just so good. It's Sankaku. You must be deep. Look how fast that transition is. Look. Look how deep that is. That's the kind of depth that you don't make it through the whole the whole time. And end of story. Let's go with it slow. Watch how fast. Let's see. Let me move this out of the way here. Look at the transition into Sankaku. Look, this is where you get it. If you let your opponent rest, you're not getting the Sankaku. You got to get that leg in quick. Look at it. Look how he's in. Look at that. Look how deep he's in. Now watch him slide under, bring this arm back, and switch his legs. Look how deep he is. So in that depth, he's going to be able to bring the foot into his knee pit. Watch. It's in his knee pit. You can tell how deep it is because watch how far he brings that foot back. Look at this. This is classic Sankaku. If you guys are teaching Sankaku, doing reverse Sankaku, you bring the foot in the knee pit. You can't be shallow. You won't get the strength of the move. So here we go. And look how easy the turnover is. Strongest muscles in the body. You're not getting out of that. You're going. There's no way out of this. Now watch as he flexes. Watch the flex. Then the choke is on. There's no getting out of that. We can watch that fast again. But that's just classic, beautiful reverse Sankaku. And as hard as Sankaku's to get nowadays, you got to get it in transition. Look how quick he's in there. God, this is just a great move. Great move. Controls that leg. Look, there's no getting out of there. Love this. This is semifinals. Big match. Winner of this takes him to the finals. Look, there's no getting out of it. You just can't. And that's good stuff. You know, you can't teach reverse Sankaku for competition for young kids because it's a joke and you don't want them doing it. You can teach Sankaku, which reverse Sankaku from the rear on a prone opponent. Never thought of it facing Uki like that. Well, Rick, that's the only way I do it. That's the only way, and my kids they've won with that. They've won with that for years, for the last 20 years, I think. You know, and continue to. It's a great move. And listen, if you want to do it and you need some help, let me know. Happy to help you. It's a wonderful technique. Again, young kids, you can teach, regular Sankaku where you're not flexing. A reverse Sankaku you can teach. They can't do it in tournaments until they get into the choking age. And once they do, you teach them reverse. Or you could teach them and have them not use it, however you want to go about it. But it's a great move. And the reverse Sankaku, when your opponent is flat, it works all the time. It works all the time. And when you're doing Sankaku, always right and left side. You learn both sides. From day one, you learn both sides. You can't tell which elbow is going to be open in transition. You can't switch. You don't have the time to switch from one side to the other. When someone hits the ground and that elbow is available, you must hit the available elbow to lock it in. If you don't, they're going to pull that elbow in. They can beat up the other. That's fine with me, Rick. It's fine with me. Sankaku is a great move. It's a great move to learn. The other thing I'll just ask you, if any of you guys, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you go to the Newaza videos, on American Judo. And I always start with the wrist series, just doing the tie up of the wrist and walking around and just getting the feel of controlling your opponent and tying up the gi, in a key lock and stuff. It's a great way to start young kids just learning how to use the gi and do the, and control the upper body as you move around your opponent's body. The wrist series, you don't have to do it all. You can do the first two, and that's fine with young kids. For you older people, and Vera, you too, you'd love it. Just go and Just practice the wrist series. It's great. If you need help, you reach out. But Travis explains it really, really well. And he has other videos on there too, if you want to get to his Juji videos. But for kids, the wrist series is great. Right and left side, teach them how to do it, walk around the body, keep pressure on, learn how to use your body when you're doing Newaza. And it will be a big help for you, a really big help for you. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you did. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Again, these young kids are just phenomenal. And it's just great to watch. It's great to watch. I hope you enjoyed it again as much as I did. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you. Remember, we're doing Ouchigari at the members call, so hopefully you can join me for that too. But you'll practice the BJ. Good job, Vera. Practice it all. Let me know if you need help. All right, everyone. Have a